The hidden glory of Africa, a forgotten era of dominion. Long before the modern era, Africa was not the colonized continent portrayed in Western narratives, but a cradle of wisdom, innovation, and power that influenced the world. At the heart of this grandeur stood the Solomonic dynasty of Ethiopia, a lineage tracing its roots back to King Solomon of Israel and the Queen of Sheba. Under their rule, Ethiopia became a beacon of divine sovereignty, unmatched in its influence and spiritual authority. Ethiopia, the seat of global power. Ethiopia, known historically as Abyssinia, held a central role in the ancient world. It was the hub of trade routes connecting Africa, Asia, and Europe. Beyond commerce, Ethiopia was a spiritual and political force. The Ark of the Covenant, said to house the tablets of the Ten Commandments, was guarded within Ethiopia's borders, lending the Solomonic dynasty an unparalleled divine authority. During this time, many African nations, united by trade, shared technology, and spiritual traditions, exerted a significant influence on the world. Ethiopian rulers, revered for their wisdom and strength, were seen as spiritual guides not only for Africa, but for the entire world. The photograph of Queen Elizabeth and Haile Selassie. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence hinting at Africa's past dominance is a photograph that allegedly shows Queen Elizabeth II bowing before Emperor Haile Selassie. In this rare image, the Queen appears in a position of deep reverence, with her hand outstretched toward the Ethiopian emperor. This act of bowing, a gesture of profound respect, was almost unheard of for a British monarch, especially during an era when Britain was seen as the pinnacle of global power. The image symbolized more than respect. It was an acknowledgement of Haile Selassie's divine lineage and Ethiopia's enduring legacy as a Solomonic kingdom. Ethiopia had never been colonized, maintaining its sovereignty even during the scramble for Africa. This fact, coupled with its Solomonic heritage, made Ethiopia a unique and formidable nation on the global stage. The Solomonic dynasty and the rule of Africa. The Solomonic dynasty was not confined to Ethiopia. Its influence extended across Africa, binding kingdoms together in a shared cultural and spiritual heritage. The gold-rich kingdoms of Mali, Ghana, and Songhai were economic powerhouses, while Egypt, Nubia, and Ethiopia served as spiritual centers. Together, these regions formed a network of African dominance that rivaled any empire of the time. The rulers of these kingdoms were seen as divine emissaries, carrying the wisdom of Solomon and Sheba. They governed with fairness and strength, creating a golden age of prosperity that many historians now believe was deliberately erased from mainstream history. The wars to erase Africa's power. The 20th century marked a dark turning point. World War I and World War II were not only about geopolitical rivalries, but also a calculated effort to dismantle the last vestiges of African and Solomonic power. the assassination of royal families. The Russian Tsar Nicholas II, a distant relative of the Solomonic line through intermarriage, was executed during the Bolshevik Revolution. This marked the beginning of a systematic elimination of monarchies linked to this sacred lineage, the invasion of Ethiopia. In 1935, Mussolini's Italy invaded Ethiopia in an attempt to subjugate the last stronghold of Solomonic power. Although Haile Selassie eventually regained his throne, the invasion weakened Ethiopia's position and marked the start of a global effort to marginalize Africa. Targeting African sovereignty. The European colonization of Africa, framed as a civilizing mission, was a coordinated effort to strip the continent of its wealth, culture, and influence. This included the erasure of African contributions to science, art, and governance from history books. Haile Selassie's role in modern history. Emperor Haile Selassie stood as a symbol of resistance against these efforts. He addressed the League of Nations in 1936, warning the world about the dangers of fascism and imperialism. His speech was prophetic, but the world largely ignored it. Despite the challenges, Haile Selassie's reign was a testament to the enduring strength of the Solomonic lineage. He inspired movements like Rastafarianism, which recognized him as a divine figure and sought to reclaim Africa's spiritual heritage. A legacy erased but not forgotten. The systematic erasure of African and Solomonic history from mainstream narratives was a deliberate act. However, fragments of this legacy persist in the architecture of ancient African cities, in the oral traditions passed down through generations, and in images like that of Queen Elizabeth bowing before Haile Selassie. As the world uncovers hidden histories, the truth about Africa's golden age and its Solomonic rulers will inevitably resurface. The dream of a united Africa, guided by wisdom and divine purpose, remains alive in the hearts of many, waiting for its moment to shine once more.